Hi Twin Flames, I hope you are all doing well on your journeys. It's Lisa here today with another video. This time I want to talk to you all about what it feels like living 5D in a 3D world. So that might sound confusing to some people, but if you are on a spiritual awakening or a spiritual journey, then you will understand what I mean. So first of all, if I explain what the terms mean, then I can talk about the actual topic itself. So when I talk about the 5D, I'm talking about living in the spiritual realm. I'm talking about kind of stepping out of the matrix, stepping out of the usual, the typical, the way that most people are living. So the 5D is kind of like a higher plane. It's operating from a higher frequency or higher vibration, and you are more aware of the truths of the universe. You are more awake and you are far more conscious. So when I talk about living in the 5D, I'm talking about being conscious, being awake, being aware of the matrix and aware of the deeper truths of the universe. So when I talk about the 3D, I'm referring to the hustle and bustle of everyday life, the 9 till 5 type lifestyle, people working in jobs that they don't particularly like for somebody else that they're making rich. The 3D is kind of like what society does, the conditioning, the way that we're brought up to live. And there's nothing wrong with the 3D, there's nothing wrong with the 5D. I'm not saying either worlds are bad. I am just trying to explain that once you have awakened, once you have met your twin and been awakened, you are ascending to the 5D. So you're going to start leaving 3D things behind. You're going to start going from the 3D to the 4D to the 5D. And, often that's why it's so painful, because everything that once resonated with you in the 3D is going to start to fall away as you ascend and as you raise your frequency up into the 4D and the 5D levels. So in the 5D, things that were once important to you may no longer resonate with you. So a job that suited you when you were unawakened, a job that suited you before you met your twin flame, may no longer suit you as you have ascended to this 5D level. So as you have stripped down all of the things that were conditioned into you, as you have let go of your old self, as you have healed and changed and transformed, you may find that when you get to this 5D understanding, that things of the 3D just don't fit anymore. And that's why you see many people on a spiritual awakening journey have to lose their jobs, or have to let go of relationships, or have to move, or have to change careers, because they were residing in a 3D energy. They were part of the 3D matrix, but now they are ascending and becoming conscious, and they're more aware that those things were not truly in alignment with their soul and were not truly making them happy. So once you have ascended to a certain point, you will find things of the 3D a little more frustrating. You may find like typical conversations no longer resonate. You might find that you need a lot more time alone. You may find that you need a career that gives you flexibility and freedom and self-sufficiency. You may find that you want to serve in a purpose that honors God or helps the collective, maybe some kind of healing role or something that raises the frequency of humanity rather than keeps it small or squashes it into a 3D box. So as you've reached a certain point on your ascension, or like me, so I have come into inner union, I have reached unity consciousness. So I mostly reside in a 5D state, and going into the 3D at times for me can be quite difficult. And there's absolutely no ego in that whatsoever. Everybody is on an ascension journey. So everybody has the potential to reach unity consciousness and to start living from a more 5D level of consciousness. So there's pros and cons of living from the 5D consciousness. Obviously, it's a lot more free and beautiful. You become a free spirit. You become very peaceful. You become very drama free, and you will find friends and family and careers that align with your truth and with your soul. However, when you do go back into the 3D, or when you find yourself surrounded by a lot of 3D people or 3D situations, it can start to get very uncomfortable, and it can start to suffocate your soul, and then you feel like you need to go back to a 5D balanced state. So living in the 5D, your behaviors are different, your activities are different, your choice of friends will be different. Everything does change. And you start to look at the 3D more like it's a movie, and that you were once part of it, but now you're kind of residing in this 5D space where you are, yes, a part of the 3D. You're still incorporating the 3D into your life, but you feel like you're more resonating at a 5D level. So I still have bills to pay. I still have children to raise. I am still very much a part of the 3D. I have to get them to school and deal with all the things that come from being a mother. But my spirit mostly resides in a 5D state. So I no longer enjoy the things that I used to enjoy. I don't need to go out drinking. I don't need to go to bars. I need hobbies like such as meditation, or walking in nature, being surrounded by other awakened souls. So that's what living in the 5D becomes like. It becomes like you want to keep your peace. You want to feel good all the time. And anything from the 3D that threatens that peace or creates drama, you may find that you want to let go of it. So living in the 5D is very beautiful. It's very peaceful. It's very connected to source. It's very spiritual. It's very divinely driven. And I guess you still do have parts of you that are 3D based. Of course, you're still a physical human, but you are living from soul energy. You recognize primarily that you are a soul in a body. So you are living from that soul perspective, more from that 3D body perspective. I know that might sound a little strange. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that you live more inwards than you do outwards. So you're more aware of your soul energy. You're more aware of, giving to humanity than rather like the exterior, or just looking at people through the physical world. So you start to look at people through a deeper lens. You start to look at people for their souls, their kindness, their hearts, and you start to, not put so much influence on what people look like, where they live, what gender they are, what race they are. Like all of that starts to dissolve, and you start to see everybody more as one. You start to see everybody as a unified group, and you start to reside from a place of deep unconditional love. Thank you for listening, and God bless.